thought she was bailing out. No, she's going to stay out. So 2:28.4.
We'll go ahead and get started so you can get back to the ball draw. So, yeah.
So right now,
let me know if you know.
The 33rd starting
Second
spot
quickest
might
lap
be a
today.
shootout between teammates
Second
like
quickest,
last
yeah.
year. Instead of this year, the team will be Dale Point Racing. Catherine was in that moment.
Okay, everyone. To accommodate the drivers heading to the qualifying draw, we're going to go ahead and begin our end-of-day news conferences. Again, Joseph Newgarden and Colton Herta will be on their way up, if they're not already on the way up. We'll start, though, with Kyle Larson, of course, driver the number 17, HendrickCars.com, Arrow McLaren, Chevrolet. Kyle picked up the second quickest lap of the day at 234.271 miles an hour. And Kyle, before you got up there, you were saying it felt like a much smoother day today for you. Just describe that a little bit.
Yeah, today went a lot smoother, just more so as planned, where yesterday did not. I thought with the weather being, or the forecast being good, I would get lots of laps, but did not. So was pretty frustrated with things yesterday, but yeah, it all went smooth and was good to just get some reps with the boost and feeling all that. So, yeah, happy with how it all went.
Yeah, good stuff. And Joseph Newgarden also joins us, who had the quickest four-lap average during all the qual sim runs that was happening, 234.063 miles an hour. Of course, back driving the number 2, Shell, powering Progress, Team Penske Chevrolet, set to qualify for your 13th Indianapolis 500. Joseph, your thoughts on it seemed like a pretty good day for a lot of teams today.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how this shapes up. Friday is one deal, and then tomorrow is going to be where it really comes together, and you're going to see where the field truly stacks up. But I think today's a good indicator, and we feel like we're in a decent spot. We're definitely in the mix, which is great to see. We've been working, last 4 years to try and get back into the mix in qualifying. So really proud of the team. I think they've built fast cars. That's what happens when you're quick in qualifying here. It's about a team effort and building fast cars. It doesn't matter how good you are. You can't will the car faster through ability. I mean, it is a team effort at Indianapolis. The race is one deal, but qualifying really shows the true nature of the build quality. So I think everybody at our shop should be really proud. They've done a good job over the offseason, and we're excited for tomorrow.
And Joseph, also the top no-toe speed today, 234.260 miles per hour. Questions in person? We get the front row with Bruce, Tim, Chris, Nate. We'll work around the room. Go ahead, Bruce.
Kyle, the fact that you work with Brian Campy at Hendrick Motorsports on the stock car side, but he has a tremendous understanding of IndyCar, having worked at Team Penske. How huge of an asset is that for you in this endeavor?
Yeah, no, I think it's good just having somebody that I've gotten to be around the last couple years on the stock car side of things. Somebody I'm comfortable with, and with his experience here at Indy as well as working with others, winning championships and big races and stuff. So. I know he's been very excited to be a part of this opportunity, and it's been fun, work with him and seeing, him catch up with old friends and stuff. And he's been a little rusty, though. He's he sent us out the first day a couple of times looking for a pack. Just I'm out there all alone. And then today, the first run, he called me in after the third lap instead of making it 4 laps. So I was joking with him that he's a little bit rusty. But either way, he's a very intelligent person, I feel like, and we're lucky to have him at Hendrick Motorsports. And then also lucky that they loaned him for the couple weeks here.
And Joseph, you worked with both Brian Campy and Gavin Ward when they were both over at Hendrick or at Team Penske. The fact that you realize he's got them in their corner, how valuable do you think that is for what he's trying to do?
I think they're super valuable. I mean, they've both been my race engineer at some point in time, so I know them very well. Great guys, super, to Kyle's point, very smart individuals, and no surprise to see where they are in their careers, different paths, but both super successful. And, I think the strength on this team beside us is showing today. They all look very strong, and I think we're going to have possibly a good fight this weekend. We'll see how it ultimately shapes up, but it's tough. There's a lot of good talent in this series, and just to speak about my team, we feel like we're in a good spot. We've got a lot of really good people. It's also bigger than one person. We preach that at Team Penske. It's a group working together, trying to get the most out of each other. And when one person either moves on or we lose somebody, we try and just fill it in with our strength, and I think we're pretty good at doing that.
Let's go Tim and then Nate Ryan after that. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, one for each. Joseph, do you feel like a favorite for tomorrow or for the weekend now? I mean, after putting in that run, it looked like an on rails kind of run. I don't know what it was like from the cockpit, but can you put yourself in a favorites role at this point?
No, I don't think at Indianapolis. I've never felt like a favorite here, and I don't know that I ever would. You know, there's so many good quality teams nowadays. This race has changed from where it was 20 years ago. You know, just to speak recently, it certainly changed from 30, 40 years ago. You know, I think you could really choose who had the fast car throughout the month or who had the fastest cars. And now, you know, qualifying is still one thing. It shows general car speed, but you can't ever get ahead of yourself here. That's been my experience the last 12 years running at this place, that, you know, stuff surprises you. There's so many good quality teams and drivers that, you know, I just don't think you can ever feel too confident and comfortable. I think we're in a good spot. There's no doubt. I wouldn't consider ourselves a favorite. I think we've just shown up prepared and ready, and now we need to execute tomorrow and Sunday.
And Kyle, what was it like getting the extra horsepower today? Did it feel like a different beast? I mean, what was it like to drive that with more horsepower?
For me, surprisingly, it didn't feel as different as I was expecting it to be. It's obviously different. You know, you can tell you're going faster, and you know you're a little bit more on the limit of things. But I was expecting, like from what I've heard, or just from watching Indianapolis stuff in the past, like. The commentators do such a great job of making it seem like it's like boom, like you're going 100 miles an hour faster. But it didn't feel way different. So I was happy about that. I think our car balance was in a comfortable spot too, that allowed me to be a little bit calmer in the car. Where I think if I would have went out there and felt on the limit of the rear tires, then yeah, I would have felt like I was probably going way faster. But I think they did a good job today with the balance and keeping me comfortable.
Nate, go ahead.
Kyle, going back to the frustration of yesterday and feeling like, hey, we got a lot of time here to make laps. Can you walk us through that? Was it just the engine change in the morning and then things sort of compounded from there and kind of caught the team out, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly all the setbacks throughout the day, but I know that we knew on what was yesterday, Tuesday, that we were gonna have to change. So I was all ready for that, and I don't know. I think it all just took longer than anticipated. Like I was told that we were gonna be ready about 45 minutes after, and then it ended up being like another 45 minutes later, and then we went out and had to do like our install stuff, and I made just one run by myself to get familiar with things, and then we tried to go out there in a little draft run, but there wasn't much of one, and then everybody left to go swap over to Q trim. So then we did, and then that took a little bit longer than expected, and then by that point the rain was approaching, so it was just I just didn't get a lot of time, which I felt like I missed out on some good opportunity of people drafting, but that just is what it is, and I know there'll be more chances on Monday and Friday, hopefully, if weather cooperates. But yeah, I was just expecting like, hey, Thursday's got the best forecast of this week, so I thought I was gonna. I think my optimism was too high, I guess. You never know what's gonna happen with weather here and issues that pop up, but I just thought that I was gonna run a lot more. But nobody's fault. Like, I wasn't mad at anybody. I was just mad that I didn't get to run more.
And then today, like, how comfortable were you with the tools? I know you said you practiced that a little bit with the knobs and the buttons. Like, was that easier than you thought? And I think Townsend and Hintz were saying on the broadcast, like, they noticed one time, like, the shifting pattern might have needed a little bit of improvement, or the precision of the weight jack. Are they working with you on that stuff a little bit, or?
Yeah, that's I don't do very good multitasking at all, but so like, it was okay when I went out there and just ran sixth gear the whole time, and I could just worry about the weight jacker, and my balance was in a good spot. I didn't even feel like I needed to adjust the car at all. But then there was other runs where I had to adjust the bar, and then I hit the weight jacker, then I adjust the bar, and then I like go down the straightaway. I'm like, oh shit, I have to hit the button again, and then I'm like about to the corner. So it's just more than what I'm used to doing. But I think each run I got a little bit more comfortable, and we got to kind of adjust moving some buttons around and playing with the colors of things, and I think that was all coming to me a little bit. So, but thankfully, again, like the balance was in a comfortable spot, so I didn't really have to be super busy in the cockpit.
Checkered flag is out on the session, by the way. Chris and then Jenna.
Kyle, this is probably, I think, the fastest you've ever been in a race car, but you've driven sprint cars that have a lot more horsepower. Did that feeling of, acceleration feel, how different did that feeling of acceleration feel when you're going that fast, when you get up to speed, compared to being in like a sprint car or something like that?
Well, it's just so different. I mean, when you're in a sprint car, you're 950 horsepower, 1,400 pounds on a quarter mile with the gear to match that. So that acceleration's different, but I feel like the acceleration in an IndyCar is pretty incredible for what I've gotten to ever feel on a 2-mile track or whatever. So 2.5 mile, whatever this is. Like going through the gears, it accelerates way faster than a stock car does. So that's fun, feeling that. But it's hard to compare like between a sprint car and a Indy car.
And Joseph, hearing Kyle talk about all the different buttons and the tools and the adjustments, does it remind you of everything you had to experience when you were learning about all the different things in an Indy car, or when you were adjusting whatever you could adjust in Indy Lights? Any flashbacks to that or no?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first time I drove an Indy car was really the first time I drove anything professionally. So I'm sure it's a little different experience for Kyle. He's coming from a different place and background, but it's a process for sure to learn this specific form of motorsport. I think I can only imagine going to the NASCAR side would be similar in that there's a lot to learn. Maybe the process is different, tools are different. But
there's no tools.
There you go. So there's no tools, but
it's nice.
But it is true nowadays. Like you get to top levels of everything. Everybody is so in tune and specialized at what they do, and they know it so well. So regardless, I think it's a lot to take in and master quickly. I think that's the challenge for sure. As you're coming up in a Kyle's got an opportunity to compete against people that are doing this all year, just trying to maximize this form of racing. So, it's a fun challenge, I'm sure. I can only imagine trying it the other way, but it's cool to have him here. Obviously for us, we want to have the best of the best running in this race, and Kyle only adds to that, which is fantastic.
Time for a couple more. Colton's on his way. Jenna, go ahead.
Hey, Kyle. This race has a lot of traditions and pageantry and stuff like that. And one of the first ones is the qualifying draw that comes up next. A couple years ago, Tim Cindric picked for Joseph and Scott and got booed off the stage. Last year, Scott picked on his own and stormed off in a rage at what he drew. I mean, who's picking for you, and do you have any idea where you want to be when that thing flips?
So my son is drawing Owen, but we'll see. I'm sure him and Audrey might fight over it here shortly. And then I don't know. I mean, it sounds like the track will be a little bit cooler, I think, when we start. So, I think, you would want to go out earlier, but you also would like to have some teammates go out before you, I believe. So, I don't know, somewhere in the first, 8 with a couple teammates in front of you would be nice, but I don't know.
And do you plan on milking the cow next week?
What? Is that a thing?
Yeah. So Joseph can tell you about
I have
it.
not heard about that yet.
Yeah. So the rookies have to milk a cow.
What?
Yeah.
Where is this?
It's on Tuesday. Joseph will fill you in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess I will.
That hasn't changed your decision to do the Indianapolis 500, has it? So.
Do we get the glove up?
Classic. All right. Literally time for one more. Eric, go ahead.
Kyle, let's talk about
There's a microphone. Grab the mic. There you go.
I was talking with your dad earlier. He said one of his fonder recent memories of this race was the 2012 race. He thought you ran the night before the 500, and went off to Ohio the next day, and he thought it was the year that Sato and Dario had that thing, but he said it was a fond moment of you guys huddled together and watching a TV or a phone screen of this race. Do you have any recollection of that day? And
kind of, now that you mentioned that, I just remember, we were in the car driving. Did Sato win?
That's when he spun and won.
I just remember, I can't believe we had live streams back then, but I think I remember watching on the screen, and he just did like a late move to the inside of Dixon, I believe, and then Dario? Okay. Yeah. I remember it being a Ganassi car, and then spinning, and I'm half Japanese, so I remember like cheering for Sato in that moment, and was a little bit bummed that he didn't win, but. I was happy for both. What was I?
You weren't
I guess I was Ganassi then, but I was conflicted in who I was cheering for. But no, I just remember. I don't know if they feel the same way, but I remember watching that. Like, Sato is crazy. So no, that was fun.
He just said more of like a bonding. Like, it just felt like cool with like you guys. He's like, we probably shouldn't have been driving in a car all huddled together watching a phone screen, but he just liked that moment with you. He said it's been special of this whole experience with you, and
that's
that
cool.
moment.
No, I had never heard him talk about then, but no, it was pretty neat.
All right, we'll go ahead and catch you guys loose. You can get certainly your family, Kyle, to your first qualifying draw, and Joseph, good luck in that as well. Again, Colton Herta is on his way up. Should be here momentarily.
No, I'm not. So
We'll get you out here. Sit down to the far left. Okay, and Kyle sat there. It might be sweaty. Trying to help you out. Wrapping up Fast Friday news conferences, joined by Colton Herta, who had the top lap today at 234.974 miles an hour, his 11th quickest 4-lap average run that we all kept a.
Just stay the first
all right.
part.
I mentioned the top lap, though, today, right? Okay. Driving the number 26 Gainbridge Honda, set to qualify for his 6th Indy 500 coming up this weekend. Your thoughts on a day today?
Yeah, crazy day. Do you get anything for being quickest on Fast Friday anymore?
You get the congratulations of your peers.
Right, and I think you get the first pick of the draw, right?
Correct. It's the fastest, yeah. So there you go.
I'll take it. No, happy with what the program we were able to get through with. Seemed to be lacking a little bit of speed, I think, on our own. Obviously, the fast lap was a toe lap, so nice to be quickest, but doesn't really mean much for qualifying. But yeah, I think we have a little bit of speed to find, unfortunately, but I think there's a chance if we do everything right, we should be able to make the fast 12.
All right, questions for Colton Herta? Going once. Go ahead, Chris.
With the car being lighter this year compared to previous years, how different did it feel this Fast Friday compared to last Fast Friday?
It's very similar. Very similar. The only thing that feels different is the tire deg. It's a lot less. Obviously, kind of a different compound for the left sides for that Firestone brought this year. So a little bit of a difference. They are supposed to last longer, but I wasn't expecting kind of this level of deg to happen, or lack of deg to happen. So it's interesting, but that's the only difference. The weight feels very similar.
Nate?
Marcus appeared to be really struggling to kind of get up to speed after the crash. Does that you worry about that at all, about how it impacts the team and maybe impacts you the next 2 days if the team has to kind of bring one car up when the other two are trying to get the fast 12?
I don't think it affects us too much, or it affects what I'm doing or what Kyle's doing or Marco's doing. Obviously it would be nice to have those data points from him. But they gotta do their thing. They gotta get up to speed and make sure they're safely in the race.
And Penske, Will Power's been talking about all year, like the amount of focus they put on qualifying this year. Was it a surprise to see them after they struggled so much the last few years, or did everybody kind of think like they were going to come full force?
Yeah, I mean, what a cheap way to hire Cannon, right? Get a deal with Foyt and then get all your Speedway secrets for free. No, I don't know. It probably helped a little bit, but I don't know. It was no. I mean, you can't. You expect them to be very good here, right? So they've been very good 2019, 2018, and it just seemed like kind of they got into a little bit of a hurtful spot once the aero screen came back, but they were always fast in the race. So it was just kind of like outright speed that they were missing, which is strange. But it seems like they came back with some good cars. Joseph looks very fast. Seems to be the fastest in the team, but Will's right there and Scott's up there too.
We'll take one off Zoom. Dan Jones, Dive Bomb Motorsports. Go ahead, Dan.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, Colton. Obviously, Chevrolet looked pretty strong today, so does that sort of concern you from a Honda standpoint? I know the Ganassis weren't as strong as they usually are today, for example.
Yeah, the Ganassis were a weird thing. Not too sure what happened there. They obviously got the pole last year, last 2 years. Last 3 years? Yeah, last 3 years. Dixon has two, Palou has
top
one.
of my head.
Oh, well. What? Yeah? 3.
It is 3? Thanks, Zach.
Yeah. We're just dragging this out, but but it does seem like the Chevys are a little bit stronger, but not too much stronger. I think Kyle had some good laps today. He ran a 233.7 without a tow, which I think Joseph's fastest was a 234.2. So half a mile an hour, we can work with that. We can fight with that. Chevy definitely seems stronger than they have in the past for qualifying, but. I think it's something that we can fight with still.
Thanks, Colton. Thanks, Dave. Good luck with the draw.
Thank you.
Any follow-ups for Colton? Who's drawn for you here shortly?
I don't know. Who is drawing? Hannah.
Who's Hannah?
One of the PR girls.
Okay, there you go. Good luck to Hannah. And to you?
Yes.
Any others? Last call? All right. Good luck tomorrow in qualifying.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You decide to ask me what